Ayo, what up, J.O.? Uh, Future me, digital me. I'm gonna make, uh, I'm gonna talk about, oh, that's good stuff, wasn't it? I'm gonna talk about something that, I think I talked about on the other channel back when it actually happened. So I'm going to talk about it now on this channel because, of course, it's still relevant. So, yeah. And I wanted to check that it was still relevant, so I just walked over there and checked. In the HIAT, that is Texas, and it was HIAT today. It still is. So it's the hospital that's in the city where I currently live of Trinity, Texas. And small town, I think within the city itself, the last census, which was 2020, had the population of 2,000, 2,500, something like that. And the county is Trinity County. And I don't know what the population of Trinity County is, but I think it's something like 25,000. But I may be off. So maybe 25,000 to 125,000, I don't know. So there may be a lot of room for error. I'm not going to look it up right now. But that was the only hospital in Trinity County. So if anyone in this county gets seriously injured, they have to go to a hospital outside of the county, which for a lot of people inside the county is going to be essentially a 20-minute ride. It could be more, it could be less, but on average, it's going to be something like a 20-minute ride. In an ambulance, we're talking a serious injury. If it's a kind of minor injury, then you can treat it yourself or go to one of the probably go to one of the local clinics, depending upon the severity. Up to you. But if it is a situation where you need to go to the hospital, then you're going to the hospital. And if it's and the nearest hospital for almost every rural community, we're not talking I don't know how they rank them, but there's tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3 trauma centers. And I can't remember offhand if tier 1 is the most elaborate or the tier 3 is the most elaborate. But basically, if you're in the rural communities, the nearest hospital is the one that, it can stabilize people in pretty much every emergency condition. But if you got a really fucked up case, you're going to go to that hospital, get stabilized, and en route, when you're traveling in the ambulance, they're probably going to be like, yeah, his leg was cut off and he's got a severe head injury. They are probably going to be able to stabilize him at the hospital, but we're going to need a medevac helicopter to take him to blah, blah, blah hospital, the maximum, the tier 3 trauma center in Houston or Dallas or Austin or some shit like that. We're going to need, the medevac helicopter. And so in that situation, you better have some kind of insurance. I don't care what it is, but you better have some kind of insurance. Even if it's shitty insurance, you better have some. Me, I'm on disability. I got Medicare, United Healthcare, and Medicaid. So, as long as I don't die, I'm pretty goodly covered, no matter the severity. Because, what are they going to fucking do? Send me a bill? Sue me, Give it your best shot. What are you going to get? I hope you're ready to wait for payment because it ain't fucking coming. Yeah. Which leads into the real reason why I want to talk about this. I have epilepsy, and this hospital being closed means 20-minute ride when something is going to happen that necessitates me going to a hospital. Now, just having a seizure and not, just a regular seizure at any old place. I won't even need an ambulance. I won't even need a paramedic coming and doing anything. I've been through plenty of those. They're fine. Just let it take its course. I'll be fucking exhausted and find my way to my bed, lay down for 2 to 4 hours, get rested enough to get up, drink a lot of water, lay down for another 2 to 4 hours, water, 2 to 4 hours, water, 2 to 4 hours, water. And then I'll have enough strength to get up, I'll be around and do some stuff for 4 to 6 hours, get some water throughout that period, lay down, fall asleep for 4 hours, rinse, repeat, 4 hours, rinse, repeat. And then after 1 or 2 days, I'll be fine. If somehow I get a minor injury, I'm fine still. Rinse, repeat, same protocol. However, there have been I can recall two events, but there's probably been 3 events in my life. I can only recall 2, but there's probably been a third one somewhere where it was serious enough that I needed to be hospitalized overnight in serious condition. And that was in Wisconsin, so I was totally very close to a good hospital. It was in suburbia connected to Milwaukee, so I was fine. And I was only fine in those 2 cases because one case, it was in the middle of the day, and as soon as as soon as the serious part happened, it was in the middle of the day, and people caught it right away. I believe that one was actually inside my job, inside the little alcove thing where um, where I was working at the gas station. That was before I was on disability. Yes, I did work the full-time jobs for until I was around, I'm 42 now. Let's say 30-ish, something like that, while having epilepsy. Yes, full-time jobs while having epilepsy. Some around, some in conditions that, in very dangerous conditions that people with epilepsy should just not fucking work in. But I did, because, Republicans. Basically Republicans. I mean, we can argue the nuances, but basically Republicans. The second time was life-changing. Was life-changing / opinion-changing for me. It was at the same job. This is how it was told to me, by the way. I can't remember. I had a seizure, fell down, and the lady that found me and subsequently called for an ambulance, she said I hit my head on the curb just outside where the gas station itself, like the middle station itself part, not where the pumps were on either side, but the station where you go in and get chips and coffee and all that bullcrap. She said I must have hit my head right on the curb, because when she found me, there was a pool of blood around there, and there's just a pool of blood around there, and that's what she found me in. And I was taken to the hospital and stuff, and after everything was done and everything, that I woke up. Apparently, I was in a coma for a few hours, and I woke up, and I was told that if that random lady, because this was at night, the station closed at, it was either 10 or 11. If that random lady hadn't come when she did, if it had been 5-10 minutes later, I probably would have died if I hadn't received the medical care at the hospital that I was able to get. So, between the ambulance and the hospital, if I hadn't gotten all of that, between both of those, so, and that's what made me just say, I gotta stop. I can't do this anymore. I can't keep working, and I can't keep putting myself in the working environment at all. I have to stay at home and not do that anymore. Doesn't matter where. Because the gas station was probably the safest work environment I had ever been in. And still, I had come the closest to death at that gas station that I'd ever been in. Was another time that I remember now. This is probably the third time that I crashed a car into an embankment. And I don't know, I'll never know. I'll never know if it was because of black ice on the road, because I go down, I was coming down, and it's kind of a weird turn into where my house was. It goes a slanted turn, not quite a 90-degree turn, but kind of a, what would that be? 45-degree turn. So, and it's a green light. So when it's a green light, it's a green light, nobody's oncoming, you just kind of slow down. So I don't know, because I can't remember. I don't know and it was winter, I don't know if there was black ice there, or if that had been the shittiest time ever for me to have a seizure. Because it could have been. It's Wisconsin. There could have been black ice there, but it was the suburb. So even in Milwaukee, they salt the shit out of the roads. So in Glendale, they really salt the shit out of the roads. So I don't know. But they told me that I drove my car into an embankment because that's right where the hill comes down, but in order to make the sidewalk work, they had to like plow up the hill and then put a bunch of there weren't bricks. They weren't bricks. They were like these kind of stony things. So there was a wall there. It was a hard wall. And apparently I crashed into that. Had my seatbelt on though. I'm very, very diligent about wearing my seatbelt. So, I'm pretty convinced if I didn't have my seatbelt on, I would have been dead there. Right through the window into something that I would be dead right now. Seizure, black ice, it doesn't matter the cause. Right into that motherfucker. Through the windshield, into the wall, probably head first. It's dead, but so wear your seatbelt. So yeah. And apparently there's going to be I think they're talking about, it's going to be something like 500 rural hospitals across the country that are going to be closing because of this insanely shit-ass motherfucker bill that's cutting funding. because it's just going to cut funding to the insurance programs that go to people that need the insurance, and because of that, those people won't be putting money into the rural hospitals, which is where all those people go, and those rural hospitals will be losing a shitload of money. And because those rural hospitals are in America, where we have the fucked up healthcare system that we do, they will shut down because they're for profit. And all those people that have the rural hospital that's like me 5 seconds away, 5 seconds to 7 minutes, now they'll have to go 20 minutes, and this guy is telling you, I don't know how many people are going to die as a direct and secondary and trinary, result, or whatever, however you want to, whatever language you want to use to describe that. But people are going to die because of that. And I realize Trump, because he's a billionaire, and other billionaires and multi-millionaires don't really care about that, because if by chance those people in the club live by one of the hospitals that they are in, they will find a way to make damn sure that hospital stays open, that they need. Their resources, all of their infrastructure will stay open. But if it's an infrastructure that the poors need, and that, fuck them. Now, occasionally, very occasionally, they might go skiing or hiking. Eventually, I want to, if someone sees this that is rich, you may occasionally go skiing, hiking, camping, whatever, in a place that is fairly remote. And because of that, you may have an accident. And you may find out that the rural hospital that would have been able to save your life, well, now that one's closed. And instead of 5 or 10 minutes to the nearest hospital, now it's going to be 45 minutes. And it would have only taken 5 minutes for an ambulance to get to you, but now maybe it's going to take 10 or 15 minutes for an ambulance to get to you. And then that ambulance is going to take 30 minutes to get to that other hospital. So we got a saying for that. It's called "you be fucked." And I hope, maybe it's not your kid, but on the other hand, I hope it is your kid, because Ben, welcome to this club, motherfucker. Now, you have a dead kid because of what you did. And, feel that direct impact of, getting some good tax breaks. I hope an extra 50, 100, 500 million dollars was worth the life of your child, or your wife, or your brother, or your father, or whoever it is. Doesn't it feel good to have even more money that you didn't need? Uh, Squeezed from the hands of millions of Americans. And by the way, millions, probably tens of millions and hundreds of millions of people in distant lands from all over the world that you have fucked for generations. It's called karma, bitch. And it comes back to you eventually. Maybe you'll be boating on one of your yachts with your family, and you will get to see all of them drown or get very injured. You'll even be able to pull all of them to shore and use your sat phone to call. And they'll all die when they could have been saved. This should have campaigned for a Democrat instead of a Republican. I mean, no more family line for you, motherfucker. It's, people are like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I want to feel sorry for you. I really do. But it's hard. It really is hard. I do feel sorry for you. I do. But people like you brought it on yourself. You need to understand that you brought it on yourself. The sooner you realize that every one of us is connected, and the sooner you act on that knowledge, the better everyone will be. All of us are connected. We are connected to each other. We are connected to the grass and the water and the air and the earth. It is not spiritual bullshit that Native Americans talk about, and it's mystical and crap. It is fucking true, and you need to understand that. And sullying the earth with your fucking chemical waste in order to dig things up and make money only hurts everyone on the planet. Now, I realize this is a bit of a tangent, but if you don't understand this, you are going to pay for it with your life and the lives of millions of others. So I'm sorry this took a weird turn, but it didn't take a weird turn, it took a necessary turn. You have to start thinking in a more enlightened way. Anyhow, I'm also sorry that, my background can't be a bookshelf filled with books and, a bunch of posters with yoga men and Buddha and Jesus and all sorts of shit. But, I am what I am. I have lots of time, and I use my time to think, not to bullshit. When you have lots of time to think, well, you understand. So there you go. Boobs, everybody, boobs.